Oh, that warning. Although I sincerely hope we don't broadcast for 8 hours. That would suck. Welcome to Retro Roleplaying. I am Nicholas Skinner, the co-founder of Skinner Games, and you are here to watch us probably fail at playing the Pathfinder 2nd Edition playtest, because let's face it, anybody who watches the show on the regular, we fail on the regular. However, I think we're going to have a lot of fun with this one, failures included, because it's kind of the whole reason why you play a playtest, is to see where all the failures are. As said, I'm with Skinner Games. We are playing the Pathfinder 2nd Edition playtest. For those of you who haven't seen this, it is a free document that you can actually go and get off of the Paizo webpage. So if you haven't picked it up, go take a look. It's got some actually pretty neat ideas in it, which we will be discussing some of them as we create our characters and hopefully start playing through the first adventure tonight. From what I understand, a lot of people have been saying that character creation through the end of the first adventure takes about 4 to 5 hours. So we'll see if we can hang in there and get through that, but a lot of us have stuff to do, and it's getting late already. We will also, or at least I will also be using periodically, depending on what happens, these two books. They are called by Madeline Hill. It is a conglomeration of random tables to roll for different things, which are actually really awesome. There's a World Girl handbook and another one that's got cool stuff in it. So if you want to get some cool books that do some cool stuff, then those are it. And they'll have lots of interesting things that you can roll on, like random name generations, random magic items, there's random towns and taverns, and really cool to build. That is what that is. And we will be playing through the adventures that they built for this playtest. That is part of the Doomsday Dawn Adventure Path. So if you haven't seen that as well, it comes in the pack with the playtest material. And if we can get through that in a decent amount of time, then the plan is to go and start playing the the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons First Edition Temple of Elemental Evil. So we'll see where we can get out with that. And if we don't make it as far as that with the Pathfinder playtest, we might start playing using it with something else, because let's face it, the Temple of Elemental Evil was just fun to torture everyone with. But without further ado, let us go through our process here. So we've got 4 of our regular players present here, Lydia, Tim, Joe, and Nolan, and we have kind of discussed character creation, but we haven't actually gone through the process of it yet. So you guys will be able to get to see us make the characters from scratch here as we go through. And hopefully the plan is that we can make the characters fairly quickly, because I had them kind of choose a little bit of everything beforehand, hopefully anyway. And so we can get the process done quick and get rolling with that. So who had a chance to read through the process? Nolan said he did earlier, and I know Tim was looking at some stuff.
I did.
Okay, so you guys got a chance. So take us through it then. What do we do? Start building a character in Pathfinder 2nd Edition playtest.
Okay, I got the PDF up right now.
Cool.
Okay, so welcome to Pathfinder. First couple of pages just explains your basic gaming lingo and things. Character creation. So this might be a little bit different. You have the option to roll the standard 3d6 setup for your ability scores, but the way that this game does it seems to be pushing a little bit more of a static character generation. So based on your character's ancestry and your class, it will determine your stat increases starting at a flat amount all the way across the board. And depending on your class and your race, you put skill increases into each of those with a couple of extra ones thrown around there just to round out the ability scores. They start at 10. They will advance by 2 up until you get to 18. And then any advancement after 18 will only increase by 1.
And to start off the game, don't forget, you can't have a character over the level of 18.
That's stat over the level of 18. Yeah. So what do we think about that in general? Like, I know 5th edition uses they really stress an array, kind of. Well, a lot of people really like the array system. And then there's a lot of variations in there. You have to roll 3d6 or 4d6, drop the lowest. What do we think about this one in particular as we go through?
It's probably more beginner friendly.
Yeah, it definitely is from what we were reading the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting take on character creation, honestly. I could see where it would give you a little less variation in some things. I mean, I know there's a bunch of classes. So you get, classes. It's ancestries now, not races. So you got your basic ancestries, but they've added the goblin, and the basic is your human, your elf, your dwarf, your halfling, your gnome. The half orc and half elves are now feats that you take to kind of spread out into other things, which I also thought was interesting. Is that this system breaks things out into feats a lot more than they used to. So we'll see how that goes as we go through. But you've got also your basic classes with the addition of the alchemist. But I don't see there being a lot of variation in characters coming along as we go through and play. But this adventure path that we're going to be playing through, the official one, encourages at certain points to play alternate characters. So our players will be playing at least 2 different characters or more, depending on if anybody dies or not. So we'll see how variable the statistics are without having to roll for it. So let's go through. What ancestries did you guys settle on? Well, we talked about it a little bit before the broadcast, but let's talk about it now. So you guys have 10 stats or 10 points in stats across the board. So talk to us about how those are adjusted.
Okay, so I'm going to reference page 14 on the rule book. And it's pretty straightforward. So first step is to choose your ancestry. According to page 14, the very, very first little paragraph, your character's ancestry is one of her most important characteristics. References a table. Ancestry affects your character's ability scores, everything.
All right. So which one did you choose, and how does it affect you?
So I chose a dwarf. The description says dwarves are a short, stocky people who are often stubborn, fierce, and devoted. Ability boosts are Constitution, Wisdom, and 1 free, and an ability flaw. Now, ability boosts are what's going to raise your opening stats from 10, and then as a dwarf, I would get a +2 increase to Constitution, +2 to Wisdom, and then +2 to another stat of my choosing. And each one is joined by an ability flaw. So as a dwarf, my ability flaw is Charisma. So Charisma would take a -2 penalty. I can offset that if I wanted to by applying my free stat boost to that to balance that out, but I won't do that this time around.
From what I read, when you can take a flaw, you can't increase that one up until you do it on a different part.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
No, we'll go with that because that sounds good. Yeah. So the how they have the book structured right now. So you've got your basic spread page that you're staring at, and then it gives you a bunch of information like the hit points. You start out with just base hit points. You don't really roll for them. It's just boom. This is the hit points that you get right off the bat. It gives you a bunch of other stuff as well, like your languages, any bonus languages you may or may not get, specific traits, how to identify the character, dwarf and humanoid, as since we're talking about the dwarves, and some other abilities that they have, so dark vision, unburdened, whatever. And then at first level, you gain an ancestry feat, and you gain an additional one every 4 levels after that. So Tim will go through and he'll pick his, and everyone will pick theirs. Lydia, what were you playing again? You were playing human, right?
I am playing a human, so I only get 2 boosts, but no flaw, which is cool.
It is handy. Nolan, what were you playing again?
An elf.
Do you remember what they were doing?
What they're doing?
Yeah, with their ability score adjustments.
Dex and intelligence, and a free, and then a flaw on Constitution.
Cool. And Joe, you were playing a gnome, yeah?
Yeah, I'm playing a gnome. I have ability boost in Constitution and Charisma and 1 free, and then a flaw in Strength. Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to make it fun.
Yeah, so that's going to be entertaining. And the reason why I'm chuckling is because as we go through, you're choosing things and you pick your classes, and Joe is going to be a gnome barbarian with a minus in strength, so that's going to be entertaining. Also, they have backgrounds in this, like they did in 5th edition, but they work differently. These are backgrounds that give you, well, I guess they're kind of the same, but give you usually 2 ability boosts and usually a skill or a feat of some kind. There are generic ones in the book, like hunter, laborer, merchants, entertainers, farmhands, etc., etc. But they encourage players of the Doomsday Dawn adventure path to pick those specific ones. So they have ones that are written for just that adventure path, and those are the ones that we will be using as we go through this game. And they talk about the languages and which ones you have, and then they go through the classes and they give you a good breakdown of those classes. So, Joe, tell us a little bit about the gnome barbarian you're building.
Well, I adjusted my stats as going through. I ended up at the 14 strength, which, that's as high as I can get for my strength with that flaw to begin with.
Yeah.
For the background, it threw me off a little bit when we found out that we had to go through and do the specialized background, but I went Pathfinder hopeful. That way I still got that strength boost in there. And that's what I went there. Still juggling around, trying to figure out, things I want to do with my gnome. I'm looking towards doing a bear totem, so he's sort of a little feisty fighter. Ankle biter, if you will.
Ankle biter. Maybe that should be his name.
I don't think that's really gnomish, though.
Dude, they're gnomes. They're weird. Okay, Nolan, you were playing a sorcerer. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. So as an elf, I had to take a boost in Dex and Charisma? No, Dex and Intelligence. And for my free, I put it in Charisma, and then took the penalty in Constitution.
Right.
My background is Esoteric Scion.
Nice.
Let me see, where's that? So one of your family members belongs to a semi-secret society, blah, blah, blah. So I got to choose 2 ability boosts. One was Intelligence or Wisdom, which I took. And the other was free, which I put in Con to put me back to 10. So I'm not as squishy. Anything else you want me to talk about?
The class?
Sorceress? Sure, Sorcerer.
Right.
So I can cast magic at will.
Woo!
Which I can cast Detect Magic and produce flame at will. So
that's cool.
I also have Fear and Magic Missile.
Nice. What kind of stat adjustments do they get?
For a sorcerer?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe I missed that part.
Yeah.
I didn't think they had one for that.
Everybody's got one. So this charisma, you get your hit points, your proficiencies, super skills. Maybe you don't. I thought you did. Class features.
Classes.
Well, I thought your class added to your abilities. Background ability boost. Maybe it doesn't. Step-by-step instructions. Start with 10. Ancestry ability boost. And flaws. Oh, no, it doesn't. Never mind. You're right. Background ability boosts, but you do get 4 free ability boosts. So don't forget that one, guys.
For what?
You get 4 free ability boosts. After you've chosen your character's ancestry and background, you have 4 free ability boosts you can assign to her ability scores as you see fit. These represent your character's variety of experiences growing up before she became an adventurer.
This is confusing.
Very important. So you get your ancestry first, and we go to the background, and the background assigns some stuff. And then
it's the 4, and then we do the 1
Right.
extra class boost.
Yes. Finally, your choice of your character's class will give you 1 ability boost and a score that's important to your class's ability. So since your class is key, Nolan, is in Charisma, you get a Charisma stat boost.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So what I did was I sort of did if you can see that, a pattern where I went through and I wrote down the numbers where my stats were, then as I added, and that's how I track everything. That makes sense? Were you able to see it at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of.
An array, that's the word. Wow, big word.
Okay.
Where does it say that? I don't see it anywhere.
Which part?
Yeah, bloodline.
Page 20. That
So
lists all of your boosts as you're going through doing them all.
Right. The page 19 is where it starts, and then page 20 continues.
Oh, it's just,
Assign values to ability score. Ancestry did that. Background did that. But it's ancestry and background, right?
Ancestry and background are the first 2 that you do.
Record your ability scores.
And then you go to 4 free ability boosts. So if you start on page 19, it says step 1, start with 10, step 2, ancestry ability boosts.
Okay,
and, then,
4 free boosts.
and then on page 20, it's step 3, 2 background ability boosts. Step 4 is 4 free ability boosts. Step 5 is 1 class ability boost.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this is kind of dumb. Just straight up, like if they give you 2 and a free and then 4, just freaking tell me already.
Yeah. No, I can see.
This is too distributed.
Well, I think they're doing it like they say in the 4 ability boosts is to kind of reflect what your character went through growing up, and that's what kind of gives you more variation for every character.
Yeah,
and it's not just
but it's
standard.
I don't know. I don't like it. There.
No, it's a lot of tracking involved. That kind of reminds me of the old Decipher Lord of the Rings game in some ways, with how they were doing stuff like that. Actually,
I mean, I liked 3.5, but now I hate it because it's just too much crap to track. Straight up, like I'm just gonna this is not what I would do. I'm trying to be diplomatic, but I really can't. It's just
no, that's okay.
Character in play, and it's like you have to go flip to page 20, flip to page 115, and flip to page 192, and then it's like what?
Yeah, it's definitely not the most straightforward. And
I feel like every game we've played recently, all the way back to like first edition, had more flow in their character creation. They give you a ton of stuff to start with, and it's in the first 200 pages of this book, which is unacceptably complex.
Well, it is a playtest, but yeah, no, that's I agree, because playing the game that starts on what page?
It's like skills, and then you get skills from your ancestry, you get skills from your background, you get skills from your everything. It's like there's just in everything you choose, there's skills, abilities, and feats.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what this game really is. It's very modular. I mean, I was talking to you about it earlier. Earlier this week.
I mean, it's kind of cool. I like
trees
the flexibility because it's even though it's set and you're not rolling, you can end up really different.
Right.
Because of all the choosing, but all the choosing is like in weird places. I feel.
No, it is good. But yeah, page 278 is like where all the character option stuff ends. I mean, and that's spells and equipment and feats and skills and classes and ancestries and overview and blah blah blah. But that's over half the book is character creation stuff, and the rest of it is not as much. So yeah, I get it. I kind of went over character creation a little bit a couple of times. But,
so I'm just gonna not pick stuff and die because it's worth it to me just to play.
Okay.
So screw it. Like I've been up since 3 o'clock too, so cut me some slack. But
it's okay. We get it.
Like I want to play.
Yeah.
So I'll just get killed and I'll build a new character and actually read the instructions better. Like I'm like typing in keywords to bounce around, so I don't have to like keep flipping.
Mm-hmm.
Like my scroll button's gonna wear my my finger's dying already from scrolling back and forth.
Yeah, they really should have like linked the PDF document. Created
That would be
bookmarks.
awesome, actually. That would solve a lot of problems. Is if it had like links you could click on. It's like go to page whatever to see your spells, and then you can click on it and you go there.
Yeah.
That would be like that would eliminate like my problems really.
Yeah.
I skipped that summary table because it's like skip to your class, and so I skipped over the part where it summarizes your character creation.
Yeah.
Because it said to pick a class next, and then it did, and then skip the part where I get more stuff. But I don't care, so kill me.
That's fine.
Yeah. I'm having an attitude problem. It's fine. But
it's okay.
legit. What am I looking for? My brain is dying. Critique is, and that I have with almost every role-playing game, is its layout.
Yeah.
Not the layout, not like the visual layout, but like where the information is. There's so much information. It's like borderline impossible to navigate.
No, I've been having a hard time as I've been reading through the book trying to, because I've got like 4 or 5 fingers. Like, what am I looking at again?
I wanted to play a game, not have a second job of like reading other people's stuff.
Fair enough. Let's move on.
I've gone on too long. You're gonna cut like 90% of this. You should cut.
I don't actually cut it. I leave it all.
Oh,
leave it all, baby.
They're gonna email me like.
I know we don't appreciate you guys playtesting this and live streaming all the complaining. Like, I'm sorry.
No, like I'm interested in it. It's just anyway. That's my complaint is that it's hard to navigate.
Yeah. No, fine. And once again, this is just a playtest. I'm sure they're going to go through and like scour this thing because I've noticed actually a few typos and there's been some more than just comma splices, but there's been some subject verb disagreements and things going on that I'm just like.
So something else, like they have hit points under your ancestry and then also under your class.
You add them.
You add them together. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So and that's kind of why we're live streaming this as well, so that people can kind of see our frustrations with things and how it's like, wait, this doesn't seem to jive and make sense. But
I mean, if I just sat through and like read it, but I'm like trying to, I don't know.
Yeah, you were like flipping a house and doing a bunch of other stuff, and
I don't want to read like 40 pages of crap to build a character.
Yeah.
I just don't.
No, I agree. And while their summary is actually pretty decent, it could be better.
Plus, I suck at navigating PDFs. If this was a book, I would be having less problems.
Yeah, no, and that's fair. PDFs are really hard to get through. But yeah, let's move on.
Nolan, even with the book,
extra good points though.
Yeah,
with the book, Nolan, I've been writing down page numbers as notes for every single piece of my info and where I have to look it up to see what I'm doing.
That's all I have to say.
Okay, thanks. Okay, Tim, you were playing The Alchemist.
Yep.
Tell us a bit about that.
It sounded like fun. So it's not. It's kind of a. What's a good way to describe it? So wizards cast spells, arcane variety, and then clerics, divine spells. Alchemy is like liquid spells. So I basically just mix a bunch of things together
You're a
and
witch.
create some potions and things. Yes, I can make healing potions, but not the equipment variety. I actually have special kinds. I can heal my party members or work like fireballs by, throwing them like grenades.
Good, because we don't have an alternative healer in the party. So
So I will be filling in that role for this party.
yeah, we'll see how that goes.
But that's fine. It's fun. What I read was at higher levels, you can actually make a Philosopher's Stone, which is really cool. And that can be used to transmute like actual mythic alchemists transmute metals to gold. So, but that's at the like max level and with the right feats and things. Otherwise, that's basically what I do. I can, in the middle of combat, I'm sort of a mid-range type character. I can't blast things from a distance like a spellcaster can, but I also don't really want to rush into battle like a fighter. So I'm kind of the shortstop type class where I have all these liquid potions that I can toss around in the thick of battle and do different things. I can throw poisons, I can throw fire bombs, you name it. I can even throw potions that'll buff my party members. You use your imagination. It works either like a contact liquid or like a gas of some kind that will either hurt or heal different people depending on what I use them for. So
Yeah, cool.
since I'm playing a dwarf, I thought it might be kind of fun to toss around kegs of beer.
Kegs of potions, these little keggers, just hand.
Yeah, or like flagons of stuff.
Yeah. They don't have terrible hit points either. They start with 8+ their con modifier in addition to whatever ancestry you have, and their key ability is intelligence, so they're not stupid and they have a decent amount of hit points.
Yeah, so we're not stupid fighter type things. Like alchemists actually possess a little bit of intelligence, so they can at least make informed decisions that won't get themselves too hurt or their party too hurt.
Right.
Like dwarves traditionally are.
Something I did forget to mention as we were talking. So this uses a lot of interesting terminology. As you're going through, they've kind of reshaped how they talk about stuff. And so there are terms where you're trained and you're expert and stuff in certain things, whether it's skills or saving throws, and these give you different bonuses to what's happening. Let's see if I can find that page, because that actually took me a while to figure out. And I was like, wait, what is happening here? That's kind of right in the beginning. It's talking about stuff, reading this book, actions and reactions and free actions and modes of play, die rolls, key terms, proficiency modifier. There you go. So there's untrained, there's trained, there's expert, there's master, and there's legendary. So if you're trained, that means you don't have any negatives. Which is nice. And as an expert, you are highly trained in the statistic or item. Your proficiency modifier is equal to your level +1. If you're trained, you add your proficiency modifier. Your proficiency modifier is equal to your level. So if, for instance, like we're talking about the alchemist, they have saving throws of expert in fortitude and reflex and trained in will. So you would add your proficiency modifier equal to your level to your will, so it would be +1 since you're only guys level 1. However, for will, but for fortitude and reflex, it would be 2, since you add 1 plus your level. And that goes for skills and a few other things. And there's a lot of other stuff in this book where they're redefining things, and they've got, like I was reading through as I was searching for it, modes of combat and modes of play and stuff like that. So they've kind of really grouped things into bubbles, more or less, of like, here's how character creation works, and here's this bubble that everything works in. Here's this bubble that you've got for feats, like here's this stuff that happens. And combat kind of shifts into this another bubble. They all kind of feel like these separate things kind of floating out in the ether until you need them, and then you pull them up. And we'll see how it works in as we play, but it's kind of interesting to look at it right now, and everything just seems very segregated in this kind of sterile way. But it could be really interesting and dynamic depending on how we go through it. So I'll be interested to go through. Lydia, you were playing a ranger. Tell us a bit about the ranger and its effects on your character creation.
I haven't gotten that far. I'm still trying to figure out all the other stuff.
Fair enough. So what's the other stuff you're having a hard time with then?
Oh, I just figured out my stats.
Okay.
And I was trying to figure out the feat stuff because I was looking at the ancestry feats, because one of the human ancestry feats tells me that I can pick one of the general feats, and there's a lot of those.
Yeah. There really, really are. I would probably stick with the ones that are in the human section.
Okay.
Just to speed up character creation.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you're not, murdering yourself trying to figure out what to do. So if you do that, you're limited to, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 options.
Okay.
Unless you want to be a half race, and then that changes things.
Also, the fact that I have to share the computer with Tim looking at the stuff doesn't help.
Yeah.
Sorry. You want your page
fine.
back up? There you go, dear.
Nah, I'm fine.
No, finish yours and then I'll do mine.
Marriage.
Yeah, sharing. Okay.
It's fun. We have a lot of fun together.
No, you guys seem to. Humans get the 2 free ability boosts, and then you get the skills, the feats, however you want, and then we're going to classes. My book. Let's go with the ranger real quick while she's looking at some other stuff. Okay, so the ranger key ability is Dex. They get 10 hit points plus con. They're expert in perception, which is nice, and it works pretty much the same way as 5th edition. And that's been a complaint I've seen from a lot of people, is it's just like Pathfinder trying to clone 5th edition, but bringing it into the Pathfinder setting. And I mean, there are some similarities, but I've seen a lot of similarity from a lot of role-playing games that weren't D20 based. After 5th edition was released, a lot of people liked a lot of stuff that was going on. 5th edition is really solid. So a lot of people have been trying to replicate it in their own systems. And Pathfinder definitely borrows some stuff. Like, they call it, perception instead of passive perception, but it's basically the same thing. But they do try and keep it congruent with the 3.5 ancestry that it's branching off of. They've also kind of, curtailed the skills to some extent, but not at the same time. It's still very much 3.5 or 3.75 or whatever you want to call it now, since it's its own weird thing. But it'll be interesting. We haven't played Pathfinder on the show yet. I have not played Pathfinder at all. I had the 1st edition playtest. I only kind of read through it periodically. So this will be interesting learning experience for all of us. Whether, the enjoyment level apparently is going to be swinging wide on all spectrums, but that's fine. That's why we playtest, to see how things go. Okie dokie. So who has their character done, or as done as they're going to get?
Still having issues with skills. Trying to figure that part out.
All right. So what are we having issues with skills?
Well, I'm trying to figure out how they work. They say I'm supposed to assign 3 skills. So I'm going through my skill sheet trying to figure out, because I know skills are how you do things.
Right.
And by choosing those skills, then you gain an extra advantage on doing them, I assume.
Yes. So this game, and I don't know if the first edition did this, but I know it hasn't really been a thing in D&D per se. But they use success rates, if you will. So there are different levels of success that happen with what you're doing. So there's successes and critical successes and failures and critical failures, depending on what you roll on your dice. And the skills allow you to do certain things better than others. But I don't. In 3.5, you could use some of them untrained, and they do have untrained uses listed, so that if you don't pick it, then you can still do some stuff like if you need to break a grapple, or you need to grapple or do a high jump or whatever, you can still roll an athletics check. But it does different things if you have the actual skill listed.
So my question is, would I want to pick skills that I'm high level on my abilities on, or would I want to pick something that I'm low? Or thematically?
I don't know. It depends on what you're going for. Like things that you would need to be trained in, like Arcana, for example. If you aren't trained, the only thing you can do is recall knowledge. You attempt an Arcana check to try to remember a bit of knowledge regarding alchemical reactions, arcane theories, magic traditions, or creatures of alchemical or arcane significance. The GM determines the DCs for such checks. Success, you roll the knowledge accurate, or you recall the knowledge accurately. Critical failure, you recall incorrect information. And if you are trained in Arcana, you can borrow an arcane spell, you can identify magic, you can learn an arcane spell, you can read magic. So it really kind of depends on what you want. And there's a table on page 143 that gives you a good breakdown of the skills, what you can use them untrained in, and then what you can use them trained for. And there are less skills than there used to be in 3.5, so they have summarized them a bit better and organized them a lot better than what 3.5 was. And I like how they give you untrained uses and then trained uses, so you can see what it is you can and cannot do with them. So that's really handy, I think.
Okay. So the skills then aren't the untrained uses line, it'd be the skill itself. So I'm given 3, so I'd be able to pick one in acrobatics, one in athletics, and one in whatever.
Right, but things like lore, you would need to pick multiple times depending on what branch of lore you're exploring, you know.
Okay. Because like I had the 2 lore feeds, gotcha.
Right. So according to my understanding, I could be wrong. That's the way it used to be. Yeah, so it even talks about it. You have specialized information on an topic lore is different than other skills in 2 ways. First, the lore skill features many subcategories. You might have military lore, sailing lore, vampire lore, or any similar subcategory of skill. Each subcategory counts as its own skill, so applying a skill increase to planar lore wouldn't increase your modifier with sailing lore. You gain a subcategory of the lore skill from your background. The GM determines what other subcategories she'll allow as the lore skills. As lore skills, though these categories are always less broad than any of the other skills that allow you to recall knowledge, and they should never be able to fully take the place of another skill's recall knowledge. Second, all of your lore skills are signature skills. This means that you can advance them to expert or legendary proficiency if you so choose.
Okay.
The signature skill is your background, class, and some other abilities list several skills that you are especially good at. These are called your signature skills. Over time, you can increase your proficiency rank in these skills to master or legend. Conversely, you are typically limited to a maximum proficiency rank of expert and non-signature skills. So you can only get so good at stuff unless there are signature skills, and then you can get better at them.
All right.
Pathfinder is a super crunchy game, you guys.
Trained in a number of skills equal to
No
3
one was
plus
talking
your
about it earlier. It's a very complicated beast.
signature skills. Gotcha. There you go. Acrobatics, athletics, intimidation.
So while I like that they try and put all of the useful information up front about stuff, like with the class, they've got that nice sheet. With the ancestry, they have that nice kind of one sheet that gives you a lot of really solid information initially, and then it goes into a little bit more depth. But you are having to go through back and forth a lot of flipping through to make your character this page and this page and this page and this page. And not that you don't have to do that in other games, like 5th edition, you still kind of have to do that, especially when you're choosing spells and you're playing spellcaster. You've got tons of stuff that you're digging around in and trying to look up. There aren't as many feats in 5th edition as there are in this, which is like bringing everything. But I do find it interesting how they've structured this. It really does feel a lot to me like Diablo 2, and how you've got your main class that you have, but then you've got your little tabs that you open up, and you've got your little skill branches and skill trees and things to move off of. And the way that they've structured feats in this feels a lot like that to me personally, which I think is interesting to institute in a game in and of itself. And there's a number of times where I've talked to people about building gaming systems, and we've actually talked about doing something similar, and having skill trees and things to help determine people's abilities. So I think it's interesting how they're doing it, but they, I think, definitely need to do a little bit more organization and hyperlink their documents when they release them. That's something I notice a lot of people don't do in general, is use bookmarks and hyperlinks in their internal documents. Do it, please. If anybody who makes documents is watching this, and I don't know why you would, but if you do, please, 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 it's really not that hard.
It'd be a lot, though. I mean, there's a lot of references in here. It would be a full-time job.
It is a full-time job. I mean, my professional work is I make procedure documents. So when people are operating specific pieces of equipment, my team is the team that helps to create documents to do that, and procedures and things. And some of the projects we work on have 700 or 800 pages worth of stuff or more. One of the projects I was working on last year had several thousand pages that we were working on, and each thing was internally linked to something else pretty much. It took friggin' time, but it was so worth it. Every time you get to an instruction step, it's got a hyperlink to another thing if it references it at all, so you can just click on it and it takes you to that part of the document. It's time consuming and it's irritating beyond all possible reason, but it's so worth it when you actually have to use the thing to have that all linked, because it's digital documents, I think, are severely lacking in that way just in general. I don't think enough people use them at all. Whether it's a novel or some other books or game books like this, I just don't think people make use of that as much as they should. That's my personal little rant about that. But yes, it is time consuming, but it's so worth it to the consumer. So worth it. It makes things go so much easier than what you were saying, having to flip back and forth, and it's really hard in a PDF without those kind of internal links. All right, so where are we at with character creation, you guys?
Getting there. I'm waiting for him to finish so I can actually look at the ranger page.
Well,
I'm pretty much done.
You sure?
Yeah.
Olin, did you manage to pick all your spells yet?
I guess.
Okay, so let's help you with your sorcerer. Okay, So were you not going to actually choose those 4 ability boosts?
Is an ability boost 2 each?
Yes.
Correct.
That's so much. Those stats are going to be ridiculous. Like, I already have 3 14s.
Well, yeah. People, I mean, their example character ends with 18, 12, 16, 10, 14, and 8.
What?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, mine ended up 14, 16, 14, 10, 12, 12.
That's intense. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm used to, like, roll 3d6 and eat it. So,
Yeah. We've been playing that way a long time, and most people don't usually play that way.
it's like, I have a 6, and I have 3
Yeah.
6s, and you just play and die. It's fine.
Yeah. And that's the way I like, honestly, meat grinder mode, which is why I've been having you guys do that. Plus, it makes things super simple. You've got 3d6, you go straight down the line, and that's it. There's not a lot of adjustments. You don't dump a lot of stuff into things. You're not fiddling with stuff. You're not like, well, should I dump this stat into that? Like, as much as I like what 3.5 encourages, aside from the array, is 4d6, drop the lowest and assign what you want. That's good, but it takes forever to decide what you're going for. You almost have to have your character built to begin with before you start assigning your stats the way you want them. Which is why I just like the 3d6 straight down the line, man. Like, and I think you get more interesting characters that way as well. Because what if your guy ends up with like a 3 intelligence?
Well, it's like real life. I mean, I'm not an athlete.
Yeah.
I didn't win that genetic lottery.
Yeah.
I'm not a baller.
No.
Proficiency level.
I could have played football, but that involves pain.
Doesn't involve pain.
Yeah. Well, I jacked up my knees by the point I got to high school from doing soccer and other stuff. But
It's the number one thing that happens.
that's true, dude. Knees are rough, man.
I know, I got tendonitis in my knee like half a week ago.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
You run on it and you run goofy for about 2 months, it'll happen.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Okay. So were you doing the free ability boost, Nolan, or?
No, I'm not. Screw it. I took 2.
Okay.
I literally don't care now. Like, just kill me.
Well, we will see where you get.
But I'm like fine with it. I'm not like saying that like
Just click back.
I'll play whatever,
Right. No, that's
Well,
fine.
they do recommend if you don't want to do all the free boosts, you can have a character with more faults and down lower.
Yeah, they do
There
say
you go.
that. They say your character can have more flaws if you decide you want them.
I'm a very flawed person, so I'm gonna play a very flawed character.
Okay, fine. Fair enough. Okay, so you did your elf thing. The classes. Let's go to the sorcerer. Alchemist. There's the paladin. I want to play paladins so bad. I hate paladins whenever I've played with them, but right now I just have this massive jive for playing a paladin. Okay. So key ability, sorcerer is charisma, which means you get another ability boost unless you don't want it. Hit points 6 plus your con modifier added
I got
to
another
your
ability boost.
from your class, yeah. So you get your ancestry,
Trained.
your ancestry, your background, 4 free ones, and then 1 from your class.
Well, if you don't want those boosts, I'll take them on my strength.
Yeah, I've got like 5 extras. You can have them.
So if I go to mine,
Why don't we
Yeah,
just
yeah.
make everyone's stats 18? It's kind of silly, like how high.
No, I agree.
At
I
first
think they're
level, like you're not first level anymore. When you make a first level character, you're like level 10.
Well, I think they wanted it to be a little more dynamic, where you're not just like super squishy right off the bat.
I get that, and I completely agree. Because I mean, I liked when we played Blueholme,
Yeah.
but there was like literally nothing to distinguish a fighter from a ranger at all at first level.
Right.
Which is how it classically is. Like when you're
Yeah, no, because I don't even think there is a ranger. It's all just like, that's super
maybe
useful.
the magic guy can cast a crappy spell because they kind of have to do that.
Right.
So I think they should differentiate more at first level. But there's a lot of stuff to track for a first level character.
No, there is.
But anyway, back onto this. Let's do it. So
Yeah. Okay. So you get 6 from your race. Or these are hit points now. We're talking about.
yeah, 6 from my race,
so
6 from my class, plus
right.
my
Plus your con modifier.
which is nothing.
So then you have 12.
Yes.
So
Well, you could have used your extra bonus points to bump up your con.
Listen, I'm a sorcerer. I don't need that. What's the point of having magic?
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so your proficiency is listed. You have you're trained in perception, which means it's first level +1 is what your perception or anything that's trained is. So your saving throws, you are trained in fortitude and reflex, and you're an expert in will, so you get +1 to your will save, and then so it's your level since you're trained gets added to your saving throws, but you're an expert, which gives you +1 to will. So you get +1 to fortitude, +1 to reflex, +2 to will. Skills, trained in a number of skills equal to 5 plus your intelligence modifier.
So with the skills, when it says you're trained in whatever number, are you supposed to pick the signature skills? Is that how it works?
I think they give you those. Or, no, I think it's just if you train yourself in them, you can get them above the normal level. So I don't think you get them right off the bat.
Right, they let you go beyond trained. You can become an expert or whatever.
Right, I don't think you have to take them, but if you do take them, you can get them boosted above what would be normal.
Well, it just says the ranger says trained in a number of skills equal to 6 plus your intelligence, which would be 7 skills, and then it says signature skills, and it lists 6. So,
Right.
If
If you take,
On
was
the
that?
character sheet, you got bubbles next to these, so you can indicate which one's your signature skill.
okay.
Right. So I don't think you have to take them, but if you do take them, you can get them above what's normal. So you can only get to expert as a trained skill, but on just any skill, period. But if you have a signature skill, you can get them up to like legendary and be amazing, like super extra amazing with those skills. But you don't have to take them.
Because that's what I'm doing.
Well, I'll
all
take
of
them because
mine,
I'm a ranger, and those are the skills I need.
all of my
Yeah.
I only have 3 of them, and my extra one I just penciled in here.
Mhm.
But my signature skills.
Nolan, your signature skills are crafting and whatever is determined by your bloodline.
This
Which
is
is
Did you pick a bloodline?
I have the Imperial bloodline.
trained
Ooh,
proficient.
fancy.
Right
Ancient power gives you arcane spells.
It's 4 trained skills.
Cantrips, sorcerer spells, reading,
Everything else in
sorcerer feats. Blessed Emblem, sorcerer feats. Lady Dragon Type, Aberrant, Imperial, spell list, signature skills. So your other signature skills are Arcana, Diplomacy, Intimidation, and Society. So you get to choose 5 skills. Did you already go over the skills?
Yeah. I'm just taking all my signature skills once.
Right. Did you get your weapons and stuff?
A knife.
Yeah.
And a
You're
loincloth.
trained in simple weapons. It's a loincloth.
Which isn't a weapon unless I strangle somebody with it, but then I'm naked.
You never know. Okay, cool. Well, you're mostly done then.
Yeah, but then there's granted spells, right? So I have cantrip and fear, right?
Right.
And then I have bloodline power, the bloodline power of ancestral surge.
Part of the 7, or is this apart from the 7 that I pick?
So your cantrip is detect magic from
Correct.
your Imperial.
Yes.
Yes.
I also have the cantrip of produce flame, which I got from my background as esoteric scion.
Right. I forgot about that. I don't have it pulled up.
Hey, we got a question.
Yeah.
About the skills again.
Okay, so Doomsday Dawn has like a bunch of character backgrounds.
Those are the ones you need to be using.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the skill that comes with the one you pick, is that part of the ones that you pick at the beginning, or is it in addition to?
Hang on. Backgrounds.
We were just wondering.
So it says you gain a skill feat and you're trained in a skill.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Sounds
what
like that's a
happens.
game.
Yeah.
So it's in addition to whatever skills I
Right.
get as a
So
ranger.
your background gives you a skill feat and then skills, or a skill. In addition to whatever else you get from your class.
All right, that's all I need to know.
Yeah. So you get 2 ability boosts, usually one that's assigned and one that's free. And then they give you a skill feat and then a free skill.
Okay.
Is what it looks like now that I'm like staring at all of them, trying to figure out if I screwed that up or not. No, that's what it looks like. So Nolan, what were you asking again?
So I get an initial power,
Yeah.
ancestral surge, which is kind of useless, but whatever.
That's the one you chose.
Yeah, it's whatever. I can increase the DC of spells by 1. Yay, I guess. I also get a sorcerer feat at first level,
Mm.
and I chose dangerous sorcery.
Ooh.
So any non-cantrip spell that deals damage and that doesn't have a duration, such as magic missile, you gain a conditional bonus to that spell's damage equal to the spell's level. So I get +1.
Yay.
So it's now 1d4 +2.
Hey, that's extra damage, man.
No, yeah.
Sometimes all you need is 1.
And then there's this chart for like, where is it? Where are you at? Chart. Up here on page 129.
Okay.
Spell level. I am level 1. So then
Right.
I have 2 first level spells.
You can cast 2 first level spells.
And is that any spell from my spell list?
Correct.
Okay. I also have 1 additional spell slot for the bonus spell slot from my bloodline, which is Fear. I took Fear and Magic Missile. I guess
Yeah.
twice. I guess I don't have to pick because I'm a sorcerer. I can just do whatever from my spell list, right?
Right.
So I don't have to pick Magic Missile. I can just cast something from my repertoire.
Right. So you don't have to prepare spells.
Yeah. So I can just. So I don't have to pick anything, but I can certainly cast Fear, I guess. But who cares? Because Fear isn't Fear in my list anyway. Right? See my confusion?
Yeah. Well, let's look over again.
So does
Of course,
one of
let's
them
go
have to
casting.
be Fear then? Because like that's your bloodline free slot.
You have the power to cast spells using the cast spell activity. You can access to material casting somatic mobile. As a sorcerer, you can usually replace material casting actions with somatic casting actions, so you usually don't need spell components. Each day you can cast up to 2 first level spells, plus an extra first level spell due to the power of your bloodline. The number of spells you can cast each day are called your spell slots. You must know spells to cast them. There you go. And you learn them via the spell repertoire class feature. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so what's the spell repertoire class feature then? Here we go. At first level, you learn 2 first level spells of your choice, and 4 cantrips of your choice, as well as an additional spell and cantrip from your bloodline. Okay.
Okay, so 1.
So there you
Well, Magic Missile is one of them.
go. That's good to know.
Yeah, spells.
Anybody else have any questions?
Not really. I'm just about done. I just gotta
Did
get
you
my.
figure out your feats?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I still need to do that.
I just gotta pick my.
Did you get a feat from the background?
Yeah, it's right here.
No, that's your ancestry. I need the background.
Oh. Yeah, hold on.
Okay, where are the rest of you guys?
Looks like I need to focus on equipment, so I'm up ahead of you guys. So I got the skills done.
And nobility lore. Okay.
Should I go over what I picked for my class feats and all that stuff?
Sure. Tell us what you're doing.
All right. Well, I'm playing the Gnome Barbarian, which you know is very realistic. And of course, Barbarians, one of my class features is automatically Rage. And then they say I get an Ancestry feat, which I picked a Discerning Smell, because, you know, gnomes with their big noses. And then I picked a totem, and I picked the Bear Animal Totem. And the deal with totems is if I do something that is against bears, it actually gives me disadvantage, and I lose my power-ups to it. So I have to be careful there, and I can't use weapons that would be used to hunt bears, which throws me off a little. That's sort of, I guess, no bows and arrows. But the totems things, there's all sorts of different totems, and that's the one I picked was the animal totem with the bear, just because I think I like the idea of a little short dude with has a bite attack and a scratch attack. And then my other class feat I picked was because I'm able to pick a totem, the Rage, then I get a class feat. And the class feat I picked is Sudden Charge. And that's mainly because my guy is so short distance. You know, he's only got a 20 speed. I could do double that speed as long as, and then I can attack right after that if it's up against the person.
Right. We probably won't make much use. I mean, you can still use it, but since we aren't using a battle map, it's gonna, you know, we're gonna have to narrate it a lot more when it comes to that.
Well, between the other choices I had, you know, when I'm raging, my vision improves. Not worried about that.
Right.
And then I could get intimidation, and no, I think I'm happy with what I picked. So right now I'm focused on going for weapons and stuff. And honestly, with my totem, it looks like I'm doing with weapons. So I'll probably be a bare-fisted fighter,
Right.
or bare-fisted barbarian. But I will have a weapon just in case. And so I'm just loading up the the equipment, make sure I get my 10-foot pole and my rope. So that's what I'm at.
This gear. I have an entire list of specific potions that are part of my potion list.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it sucks.
Well, can I look at my feats now?
Yeah.
Oh, we must have lost Nick.
I'm gonna go to human.
You're kind of quiet.
Well, my connection dropped.
I figured you just, were so impressed by my choices, you just decided to shut off the game completely and call it good.
Yeah, you're just totally gonna dominate everything with your little midget man.
I think I found an error.
Oh?
Under the Fear spell, page 223. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, if I succeed, the target is frightened 1. If I have a critical success, the target is unaffected.
Oh wow! I like
If
the
I-
third one.
If I have a failure, the target is frightened 2.
You know what? I think you need to fail all the time.
Critical failure, the target is frightened 3 and flees for 1 round. Oh, is that them failing?
I think that's them failing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But even so, if
There you go on the
one-
sentence right at the beginning. With effects based on its will save.
Oh, okay, that's backwards because I was like, if I fail,
Yeah.
I'm doing it. Rolling that 1. Okay.
Yeah. I know, right?
So they have to have a critical success for them to not be cool, right?
Yeah. No, even if they succeed, they're still frightened. You know, it's just they have to really be really, really not afraid.
What's frightened 1 mean?
That's a good question. See, that's what I was talking about earlier with like how these terms and then like love.
I think it's
things.
turns.
4 class feats.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think you're right. But I was just reading that actually, or I was about to get there earlier today. I've been through the book a couple of times, but it's been kind of interesting to dig through it all.
We didn't even get
So
to
frightened. We didn't even what?
We didn't even get to powers and spell points.
Right. You're gripped by fear and struggle to control your nerves. The frightened condition always value. You take a conditional penalty equal to this value to your checks and saving throws, unless specified otherwise. At the end of each of your turns, the value of your frightened condition decreases by 1.
So you're
So if he's frightened, yeah, but if he has a critical failure, he's -3.
which is not bad.
And
And
fleeing
flees for
for
1 round.
1 round. Yeah, and then when the round is over, then it might make his way back, but he's still at then he'll be at -2 to everything. And then he'll be -1 to everything, and then he'll be back to being normal. So,
It's a first level spell. What are you going to do?
yeah. Well, it's kind of neat how they do that, but it can also get kind of
I like it.
complicated
I like
and
it.
bogged down and just everything. Yeah, no, it's kind of neat. Okay. Well, you guys are kind of in the ending stages of stuff, so let's get started now that it's after 10 o'clock. So we've been talking about character creation for the last hour. What?
It's
Was that
after
all?
11 o'clock.
Oh yeah. Well, it's after 11 for you and 10 and Lydia. Different time zones and all that. Moving along. Let's get started with our adventure. Okay. So, you guys, as I was talking about earlier, are in the city of Magnamar. It is a large city on the coast of the continent. It is kind of on the end or near the end of a peninsula that kind of shoots out. You have known each other for a while, so we're not going to go through all that messy getting to know you stuff. Although Lydia and Tim still need to name their characters.
Mine's Talia.
Talia?
Yeah.
And do you have a last name?
There's a dinosaur.
Whatever
form.
that other lady's last name was.
Oh,
I haven't gone back to look it up. I'm writing down my feats right now.
it's okay. Did Tim have a name?
Yep.
What's
What
your
was
name?
your
My name is Gorak Stonecork.
Gorak or Gorax?
Gorak. Gorok.
Okay.
Everybody.
Yep.
There's a spell called dinosaur form. Why don't I have this spell? It's level 4. Oh my gosh.
Are you a druid? Do you have access
It's
to
the
it?
wrong class. I can be an ankylosaurus.
Nice. Nice. What was the last name again?
Stonecork.
Okay, that's what I thought you said. And then no one distracted me with the dinosaur form. Stone cork.
That's more important. Than
Okay. It's true. Okay, so you're in the city of Magnamore. As I said, it's a large city. A lot going on. You have been in the town for kind of just traveling through with each other. You haven't really been on too many adventures with each other. But you get to know each other, over some years, working in a local town together, and then traveling on your way to other places. You guys have come to this town to help celebrate a festival that is going to be happening soon. And Talia, there you go, is excited to meet her cousin, although she didn't meet her right when they came in town. Her cousin is an aristocrat and a scholar. Her name is Kellery Deverin, and she is in charge of part of the administration of the city. So she helps to run some of the festivals, and some of her family has a number of properties around town, and some of them kind of on the outskirts of the city. Some decent country estates that they go to for time off, if you will. So you guys are sitting in the eating area of your local tavern, and are sitting around the table eating your morning meals. Gorak has a nice jug of mead or whatever else he's drinking. Pelagius or Pelagius, however you want to say that. How are you going to say it?
Who, me?
Yes.
I thought it was Palladius.
We can go with Pelagius. That works.
I'm going with
Pelagius
that.
is sitting and being aloof as an elf. Warlin Brightfizzle, the gnome barbarian.
What was his name again?
Masticating. Warlin Brightfizzle is masticating some meat. He's getting it all over his gnomish beard. He's picking out it and he's eating it. Looks like he hasn't showered in a few days.
About right.
Even though there's a shower, or not, there's a bath that you guys can use and have full access to.
Waste of money.
Yeah.
Go for gold. Purchase them again.
I probably should mention I have a coyote,
Okay.
my companion.
You have a coyote?
Yeah, coyote.
That's right.
I am regretting not being a druid now, because there's a purple worm sting spell.
I haven't
Remember, once this guy dies, you can be something else.
It's any minute now.
No.
Basically, that's all I guess.
Okay. So the I don't want to call it a tavern, but the area in which you guys are eating, it's not really a tavern. The galley, if you will, is pretty busy. There's going to be a festival soon, so people are coming in and out. There's enough of a buzz kind of going around. And as I said, Talia is very excited to see her cousin. So what are you guys going to do first? Are you going to go see your cousin? Are you going to keep eating? What is the plan? Begin the game.
You guys ready to go yet?
Go.
I haven't seen my cousin in years, so let's go.
Oh, come on. I just started this beer.
You're slow.
If it's one thing I've learned, no good drink goes unfinished. And this is a good drink.
I grab his drink and I finish it.
You
Hey.
beat me to
Hey.
it.
Okay, but
Now it's done.
You can make your own drink.
Technically, I can.
Shall we go?
Yep, I get up. I start heading for the door.
I follow my little short legs.
Okay. All right, so as you get up to walk out, a messenger who is wearing the livery of your cousin's household actually kind of bursts in a hurry and begins asking around for you. He says, there's a mistress here. Her name is Tilia Deverin. She is related to the administrator of the town. Please, where is she?
I'm over here. Why are you so frazzled? What's up?
Oh, she has an urgent message for you. I don't want to hear about security risks. Get on my screen. So she has an urgent message for you. She needs to talk to you right away.
Okay, lead the way.
She heard you were in town. It's okay. Please follow me. And he'll lead you winding through the city. People will bump into you, and it's a busy place. But he takes you to an office building. So there's this large facade as you walk up with large marble columns, and you walk in to this area that is guarded. But he leads you up to this office. And when he gets close to the door, he bids you to stop, and he'll knock. And she'll open. You'll hear her voice, say yes. And say, I've brought your cousin. She goes, oh, please, see her in. And he'll lead you into there. So your cousin is sitting behind a large desk, and she is wearing kind of a red dress and has a bit of a lacy shift kind of pinned around her neck. She's got kind of short hair, and she greets you with a smile. Her face kind of crinkles up and really exaggerates. She's quite pretty, but it exaggerates her kind of freckled and happy demeanor, although she looks mildly confused. And as you walk in, there's kind of stench meets your nostrils, and kind of cowering beside her desk a bit is a short green humanoid with kind of long pointed ears, jagged teeth, and it looks horrendously frightened, especially at the sight of Warlin Brightfizzle, who is just a bedraggled, short and violent-looking gnome. So you'll hear the humanoid squeak kind of, and run and hide around the side of the desk.
Clary, what's this thing doing in here?
That is a very good question. So how our family has that one piece of property on the outside of town. That's a bit of an estate there.
Yeah.
She says, well, there's with the festival coming up, the Swallowtail Festival, we've classically planned that for, several generations of our family. The focus of this year's festival is the consecration of a new cathedral. I don't know if you saw it when you guys were coming into town. It's the big one up on the hill. It's quite a beautiful cathedral. We were looking for a blessing on one of our family heirlooms, the Star of Desna. I don't know. Do you remember what that was? It's been a long time since you've been home.
No, I don't remember, and I never paid much attention to that stuff anyway.
So, you were always quite the interesting young lady, if I recall. Well, I was planning on wearing it to the festival and hoping to get it blessed. And there was just something interesting happened. And would you, as she kind of looks around to the back of her desk, really want to come and talk about what was happening at our estate? And the little thing kind of squeaks a little bit. Let's see if I can find the name of it.
Is it a house elf?
No, that's a goblin. Stupid goblins.
Says, yes, mistress. It says in this high, squeaky voice that I can't do.
Someone give him some clothes.
You got a pet?
Oh, this is not my pet. However, she has been adopted by me to some degree. Talga, please relay what it was and how we found you. And the goblin will launch into this kind of broken story of how her tribe was living just fine down below, and then a big goblin that I've never really seen before came and he took over our lands and our people and drove us to rob more than usual. But he said that there would be a big score. And we went, and so many died. And I just stayed. Gallery say, please be a little more coherent. Oh, right. Sorry, mistress. And then they'll continue to tell a story about how the tribe, who are called the Night Heralds, I believe. Syrian to join it. No, that's not right. But there's a goblin society that showed up and robbed their oh man, see, my brain is dying now. Robbed their vault. That's the word. Jeez, criminy. And stole the Star of Desna. So there's a giant hole kind of in the middle of this vault now in the floor, and when Kellery was converted to this, she rushed over to the estate as much as possible, and hold on a sec.
Oh no, where'd it go?
Sorry, I heard something knock on the door of the room I'm sitting in, and there was nothing there, so that was really weird.
Even better.
Yeah, I know, right? No, that was actually me that time. So yeah, there's this hole in the floor of this vault, and the goblin was found there in an empty vault. So Kellery brought her to her workspace so that she could kind of talk to her, the little female goblin, and she talked about how she was so scared of the death that has been happening that she just didn't want to go back to her tribe, and wanted to kind of make amends for what was happening. And so Kellery says, that's quite the tale that I discovered over the last few days, which is why I haven't sent for you earlier, dear. However, since I know you have been mucking about in the woods lately and have a particular set of skills, I was wondering if maybe you would be a darling and go and fetch our family's relic for us.
If it's important to you, Cleary, I guess I can do it. I give her a hug.
Thank you. It's maybe not the most important thing, but it was going to be trying to gain some more standing here in town. I think having our little star blessed will help us out. I will send Talga with you, and she will guide you as far as she wills, and then return to me. She says that to the goblin, who will shake its head, but still look pretty frightened. So you'll eventually get into a cart. Killer will offer you anything that you need that you don't already have. And you guys kind of trundle your way in the afternoon to this vault. When you get there, you notice that same kind of stink is pouring out of the hole that Talga points to you. Which is this is where we came out of.
Smells lovely. Well,
do I notice any particular scent to it?
It smells like sewage and goblin, and there's a bit of a burnt stink.
Well, goblin and sewage are pretty much similar to begin with.
Yeah. What were we saying, Nolan?
That's like sewage and sewage.
Yeah. Sewage and more different sewage.
I go and take a look at the hole.
Okay. Yeah, so it's
neutralize odor.
Yeah. So it's I mean, it's not a huge hole, but it's big enough that you guys can get down in relatively comfortably. And it is tunneled pretty crudely down, so you guys are going to have to crawl down a bit to get to the bottom of this entrance into these vaults that have been established. But on your way to this estate, Tulga will give you a little bit more information on what's happening. She will talk about a large, she said that, this monstrous goblin that has taken over as leader of this tribe. The Mud Chewers is what she keeps calling the tribe, so the tribe of Mud Chewers. And that they were more peaceful, since the Goblin Blood Wars. But lately they've just, this big, huge goblin has been forcing them to go out and to raid and to do things that they haven't really been fond of themselves. But nobody's is brave enough to stand up to them.
Well, maybe you just need some bigger people.
Yes, you are some bigger people.
That's what I meant. Are we going down the hole, guys?
No one else is answering.
They're just kind of standing there like...
The hole's dark, right? Completely?
Yes, it is quite dark.
Okay, I got dark vision. Maybe I can look down and see how far down it goes.
So it goes down a few feet and then it curves. So there's a declining curve. So eventually you'll stop seeing. It'll go far enough that you just won't be able to see the bottom.
Well, seeing as how I'm the tank, I'll go first.
Okay.
And plus, I have plenty of space in that hole for me.
Yeah.
So I'll lead.
So who's going next?
I have a torch because I have low light vision, so I have a torch with me.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go third, I guess. I can't see in the dark, so I'll follow these people.
I'll go second. In case he gets hit with something, I could probably pull him out. I'm also resistant to poisons and things, so
That's handy.
I'll be good.
Okay, so that leaves the sorcerer to pull up the rear, yeah?
Yes.
Okie dokie. All right. So you guys begin to kind of stoop. It's not very tall, well, except for the gnome, of course, and the dwarf. So it's kind of the tunnel is large enough for you guys to fit in, but it's even for the dwarf. His head is almost like hitting it as he walks. So anybody that's taller than the dwarf, yeah. So the elf and the human have to kind of stoop and crawl as they walk through, but you guys can make it through down this tunnel fairly easily. What page are you on? I'm looking for something.
Oh.
In a document you guys don't have.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so you actually, does it give me a page number? That would be excellent. No, it doesn't. It just tells me what book to find it in. Okay. So it's damp. It's crowded and it's crusty, and by the time you guys kind of open up into what appears to be a large cistern, you guys are all just filthy and dirty, and the human and the elf might have their backs a little stiff from having to bend over for a bit. I mean, it's quite a walk that you guys have been through to get to where you need to be. It's up into quite a large, round room. They said it looked like it was a cistern at one point. There you are, but has since dried up a bit, so it's not as wet as it probably should have been. So the walls of this long chamber are scorched dark, and the thick layers of soot crusting to the ceiling above attest to a tremendous fire that must have raged through this room in the past. Burial niches... Oh, wait, I'm reading the wrong one. The damp sewer passages have led to a slimy cistern that stinks of decay. On the northern edge of the circular chamber lies a pile of burnt bones in front of a scorched tunnel.
Well, what kind of bones are they? Can I get a look at them?
You can get a look at them. So, do you wish to inspect them with a skill?
What skill would I use for that?
I am turning to that page.
Would nature or survival work? I need to open up the dice roller.
It's not really survival. Are they saying that perception covers this? Deception, crafting, or athletics, or medicine, nature, occultism, performance. Let's take a look at perception, shall we? Perception, 301 to 303. Perception. Senses, precise and imprecise senses, light, special senses, blind sense. I don't want that. Your perception measures your ability to notice things, search for what's hidden, and tell whether something about it or about a situation is off. This statistic is frequently used for rolling initiative to determine who goes first in an encounter and for the seek action. You have a perception modifier based on your wisdom. Your class determines your proficiency in perception. In many circumstances, such as when someone's trying to sneak past you, the GM will roll against your perception DC. Much like skill DCs, your perception DC is 10 plus your perception modifier. That makes sense, everybody?
10 plus modifier.
So you will be rolling perception.
I'm open up the dice roller.
I got it.
We have misplaced our D20.
You only have one?
Okay. Let's see.
Okay, so how does this work?
Just shake it. Ooh,
Okay.
that's a good roll.
So 16 plus my perception,
Correct.
so 20.
20. Wow, that's really good. Okay, so yeah, you walk up to these bones and you'll see as you kind of examine them that they've got scratches along them, like something has gnawed at them or pulled the meat off. They don't really look like they got caught in the same fire that you guys have seen evidence of, kind of up to the north there. And you'll see other bits of waste kind of in the area as well. Definitely solid biological waste, as well as scraps and rags and things like that. So that's kind of the more dry-ish area that you're looking in, but there's some other bits that appear to be a little bit more gooey.
Hey, Goblin. Do you guys, have you guys eaten something lately like this? And I hold up the bone and wave it at her.
We've eaten much lately, though increasingly less.
I mean, what's with the bones?
Well, not all goblins are dirty.
Right.
That dirty. I don't like to keep trash where I live, do you?
No, I don't say I do.
Goblins are more sophisticated than people know.
Okay.
See, I know a big word, sophisticated. I learned it this afternoon.
Who taught
I
you?
find that highly unlikely.
Well, she did spend the afternoon with my cousin. She's pretty smart. A lot to learn.
She is very kind. It didn't kill me.
Yet.
That's why she sent you with me.
Because she didn't kill me?
Give me a chance.
Oh.
Oh, you are smart.
Yes, well, yes. Can we move forward with this burning?
I know, I'm waiting for the
Stuff
people
to
who
do.
see in the dark to go first.
So what do we see ahead of us?
All right. So, what was the initiative or not the initiative order?
Marching order?
Marching order again.
I was the one in front with my torch.
Right. Okay. So ahead of you, there is another crudely carved entrance past this cistern, and I will. How am I going to end up doing this? Because these rules are a little bit different than I'm used to. Okay, there's that. Nolan, what is your perception? Total?
Trained?
Okay, so that's 11 plus whatever modifier it is. Hold on. What page did I say that was? Sorry, here. Just read it. Just looked at it. I hate when I forget stuff. There it is. So it's wisdom. What is your wisdom modifier?
+0.
What was that?
+0.
0. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, you do notice it. Okay. So as you guys are walking kind of towards the entrance of this kind of burned out cavern, you will just at the tail end before it strikes you notice one of the puddles kind of starts to undulate and kind of rise up a little and lash out at you. I need you guys to roll the initiative, which is your perception. So whatever that is, plus your... So it is your perception modifier, which you add to whatever you roll, is your wisdom modifier, plus your perception proficiency modifier, plus any circumstance bonuses, plus any conditional bonuses, plus item bonuses, plus circumstance penalty, plus conditional penalty, plus item penalty, plus untyped penalties. And yes, this is how they write it in the book. Did you get it?
10?
17.
That's what my dice said, so it's 10.
I think my brain just folded in half.
Yeah, it gets a little intense about what this is. So basically, what you guys have to know is your wisdom plus whatever your proficiency or your perception proficiency is, which is usually like to kind of determined by your class, so trained or untrained or whatever, and then plus whatever else you have on you, and then whatever else is happening.
What is trained do? I'm trained. What does that do for me?
That means you add your level only.
So 1.
So yeah. So it's 1 plus your stat modifier, which was 0. So
11.
So you
How do I figure
so
out
you roll
the
an
point
11.
Tim's trying to get the dice working.
That's fine. Okay, Warland, what did you get?
I rolled a 16, so that means that's an 18.
Okay.
This plus
And-
passive. Right? Good.
Eligius, yours was 11.
My total's 21.
Okay.
For initiative?
Shoot. Mine is 6.
Do we roll a d20? What's the size of the die that we roll?
It's a D20, man. Almost everything is a D20. Unless
Wait, no,
it's
7. I rolled a 7.
Yeah, so it's the roll plus perception, right?
Right.
So yeah, I rolled an 18 plus 3 is 21.
Very cool. So 7 and
How does my animal
roll a 4.
companion go into this? Do I roll for them too, or they just work with my initiative?
They work on your initiative, I believe. But you have to, if I'm recalling correctly, you have to use one of your actions to command them to do something. Yes.
Okay.
So we'll get to that as we're going in. Okay, so initiative. So Gorak is acting first, and then it's Warlin, and then it's Pelagius, and then it's Leah, and then the monster that you are facing.
What's the monster?
You don't know. You haven't identified it yet.
Oh, is it the bottom?
What is in there?
Okay.
Oh, so I'm first?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, what kind of creature is it?
So you have not identified. Oh, by the way, before I forget, so everybody starts out with 1 hero point in the game.
Yeah.
Each person starts out with 1 in the session. You can earn more as you go through, but they allow you to do stuff. So spending 1 hero point allows you to stave off death, which please do because death is kind of hardcore in this, and it involves a lot. Spinning 2 allows you to re-roll a d20. Spinning 3 allows you extra time in an encounter. 1 hero point also, let's see, increase in the dying condition. Yeah. So make use of them. Did Nolan drop?
I did. I'm back.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So Gorak's going first.
We're in a tunnel, right?
You're in a cistern, so you're in a giant room.
Okay. How big's the room?
Oh, give me a sec. So,
I have dark vision as a dwarf, so I should be able to see whatever's in this
20,
room.
25. It's about 30 feet in diameter, a little bit over.
Okay, so I should just be able to see what this thing is. What is it?
You can see what it is, but whether or not you know what it is not the same thing.
Oh, okay. What did it look like?
So as far as you can tell, it is a moving puddle of muck that is attempting to strike you.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's save that. Let's go ahead and cancel this one. Okay, I'm going to break out one of my potions.
Okay.
Okay, I just need to read up on the actions because it's kind of annoying. Every alchemical potion that I use requires an action, which is the equivalent of me quickly mixing it together and throwing it.
Right.
So, all right, let's go up here. All right.
So for those viewing who haven't looked at the book yet, one thing that I actually really, really like about the book and the system so far, that I'll show you here on the screen, is how things are organized as far as actions you take. So they each have this little symbol next to them. You can see those little triangles. That tells you what you can and can't do and what they are. So, like aid, for example, has a particular symbol that means that it was that obviously reaction, I believe, or was that the free? See, I'm still trying to learn them. But the assist is 1 action, and they'll have symbols to tell you what is 2 actions and what is 3 actions. So you get 3 actions that you can take, not including free actions and reactions, I believe, depending on what's happening, as you go throughout the game. So it is a reaction that was next to aid. So I think that's kind of neat how they did that. It really kind of helps you visually track what you can and can't do in an encounter. So Tim, what was it that you were doing? Sorry, Gorak.
Okay, I will attempt to use Alchemist's Fire on this puddle of goo.
Ooh. Okay. So roll your d20 to try and hit it.
Let's see, that's another. Okay, so hold on. The roll was an 18 base.
To attack?
Well, that's just my base roll.
What do you add?
Well, right. Are you attacking? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm attacking.
Okay.
Kind of look here. Man, this. Okay, so those are my items. Okay, here we go. Alchemical bombs. Martial thrown weapons with a range of 20 feet. So, how far am I from this?
You guys are pretty close, within 10 feet.
Oh, okay. I'll throw a bomb at it.
Okay. Don't those have splash damage?
This one does, yeah.
What's the radius on that?
Okay, it doesn't say. I'm reading the description. Alchemist fire is a combination of several volatile liquids that ignite when exposed to air, typically stored in a sealed flask. Alchemist fire deals 1d8 fire damage, 1 persistent fire damage, and 1 fire splash damage. The target can end persistent damage by spending an interact action, becoming submerged in water, or otherwise entering an area deprived of air. A creature adjacent to the target can also end the persistent damage by spending an interact action. Okay.
Okay, sounds good. I'm just seeing if I can find splash damage. Page that would be on. Splash 1. Because I don't remember the radius of what that is. Okay.
You have here a beastie.
I do indeed. Okay, finish your rolls. You throw your flask and it shatters on its liquid surface.
Okay. So roll for damage.
Yes.
Nice to be. This is why I like this class. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
I don't have to go toe to toe, and I can still deal damage, but I'm not completely vulnerable either where I am. Because then I can just pour things.
Yeah.
And I did. There it is. Okay, so it's a D8. Alright, it's a thrown melee attack. So I gotta write some stuff down. So if it's a thrown martial weapon. Okay, which I don't have training in martial combat.
Are you sure it's a martial weapon?
Yeah, that's what it says. Alchemical bombs. On page 359, bombs are martial thrown weapons with a range of 20 feet. When you throw a bomb at a creature, you target its TAC.
It's a ranged weapon.
So would it count as a ranged weapon?
Yeah.
It said it was a martial ranged weapon, though, right?
Yes.
Not a simple ranged weapon? Or...
Yeah, it says bombs.
So if he's not trained in martial
What?
weapons. So are you trained in martial weapons? You said no, right?
I don't think so. My class says I'm simple weapons trained.
Yeah. Then you just want using it trained. Right.
You're trained in alchemical bombs.
Yeah, well, it says I'm trained in alchemical bombs though, on my class. So okay.
Might count as being.
All right. So rank bonus +1 ability.
Did you roll your damage and everything yet?
Working on it. Dex +1.
I cannot find splash damage anywhere. Oh, there's persistent damage. Doesn't say. What is this persistent?
Level. I think my phone.
When a character uses a thrown weapon with splash traits such as Alchemy Ball, Holy Water, they don't add the strength modifier to the damage roll. A splash weapon can deal splash damage in addition to its normal damage. If an attack of the splash weapon fails, succeeds, or critically succeeds, all creatures within 5 feet take an indicated amount of splash damage. On a failure, but not a critical failure, the target of the attack also takes a splash damage. Splash damage is not multiplied on a critical hit. Page 359.
Where did you? How did you find that?
I read in the index.
I looked for it too.
Well, no, there's the appendix traits. It's right before the main index. I found it on page 419. Joe speed reads.
Splash. Splash.
Oh, yep, there it is. Okay, so I think I just rolled a die then.
Yeah,
Like
you rolled the die and you hit. What was you rolled like an 18 and some change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you remember how much it was, Tim?
The roll? My D20 was 18.
Right, plus your attack stuff.
Yeah, so I guess we'll count it as a ranged because it's 20 feet range. So
Well, it is arranged, yeah.
okay, so my bonus is +2, +1 from Dex, +1 from trained proficiency. So the total roll would be 20.
Okay.
Okay, so then damage is a D8.
Okay, so you critically succeeded, just so you know.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna laugh if this ooze gets bigger.
That's not funny.
Critical success.
What was that?
You said it was a critical success.
Yes.
Well, it was a 20 with modifiers. The base roll was 18.
Right. Its AC is not that high. If you roll 10 over the DC of the target or whatever AC, blah blah blah, then it's a critical success.
Hey, all right.
If you roll a natural 20 or 10 over, is the roll.
Okay.
Oh, that's good for me. Okay, so damage roll is 4. Plus 1 persistent, plus 1 fire splash damage.
Cool. Does that count as a critical hit if you get 10 over? Is that only a natural 20?
I will laugh if it is.
Do. I promise I did read this entire book. Double the usual number of damage. I don't want to know the damage of critical hit. I want to know triggers a critical hit. 178.
Wow, lots of turning. Seeing if I can find the answer before you find the answer. See if I win.
Yeah. Attack rolls critical hits when you make an attack roll and roll a natural 20, or if the result of your attack is the... Yeah,
It's,
so you did
it's a critical hit.
Yeah.
Page 292.
178.
I got on 292. Calculating results.
Woo! So yeah, so you got a critical hit, which means base damage. So you did 4, so you did 8. Is that all right, Tim? You said 4?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Woo! That was time consuming. Okay, no one's like asleep over there. Okay, that is Warland's turn.
All right, I'm just going to go screaming and swing at it with a glaive.
Okay. So
They way top.
that's from the item.
What'd you say?
It's gonna go here.
So I rolled a total of 13.
Okay, you will strike it with your glaive. You'll notice it kind of parts a little when you hit it, and it's kind of this nice jello-like substance, and it kind of squeeches and moves and undulates as you strike it.
All right.
But you did a good solid hit.
So I did 1d8 worth of damage, so 7.
Okay,
I rolled a 4 plus 3.
not bad. All right, and that makes it Pelagius' turn. If he's still awake.
How far away is it from me?
About 10 feet.
Okay. I burn it with fire.
Do so. Wait, your alchemical fire had some other stuff to it, didn't it, Tim?
Yeah, 1 persistent damage and 1 splash.
That was fire.
Right. But the splash damage didn't really affect anybody, because nobody was within 5 feet of it. However, the persistent thing... Well, I was just looking at that and said, you need to do that, and I didn't. No, keep going with your turn.
I shoot it. So
Okay.
it just has to touch AC, right?
Are you touching it?
No, I'm shooting it, but it just has. I think that's all it needs. Not just AC, but touch AC.
For your spell or spells in general?
That's what I'm saying. My spell. Hold on.
Okay.
Produce flame. Make a melee or ranged touch attack.
Oh, cool.
I rolled an 18. Well, 16 plus 2.
Okay, you will critically wound it.
Alright, on a critical success, the target takes 1d4 persistent fire damage, in addition to the cantrip dealing double damage.
Cool.
Takes 6 damage, and then 1d4 on my next turn, I guess.
Okay, so the persistent damage thing, we'll read this since both of you guys apparently have persistent damage effects. Persistent damage comes from effects like acid or burning and appears as X persistent type damage, where the X is the amount of damage dealt and type is the type of damage. While affected by persistent damage, at the end of your turn, you take the specified amount and type of damage, after which you can attempt a DC 20 flat check to remove the persistent damage. You roll the damage dice anew each time you take the persistent damage. Immunities, resistances, and weaknesses all apply to persistent damage. If an effect deals damage immediately and also deals persistent damage, you don't take the persistent damage if you negate the other damage. For example, an attack that deals slashing damage and persistent bleed damage wouldn't deal the persistent bleed damage if you blocked all of the slashing damage. You can be simultaneously affected by multiple persistent damage conditions so long as they have different damage types. If you would gain more than one persistent damage condition with the same damage type, the higher amount of damage overrides the lower amount. Okay, so Tim, what was your persistent damage? Fire, and what else? How much damage did it do?
Just 1 fire damage.
Okay, so Nolan, yours was 1d4. And does it say you roll that, or? I think the target rolls 1d4 persistent fire.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Right. Okay, so it would be taking Nolan's then, because it has the potential to be higher. Okay. So you critted. You did how much damage? Sorry, I missed that part.
6.
6? Okay.
I might be doing more. I forget. At least say 6.
Okay.
I have a feat thing that lets me do more, but
Okay. Well, and then you're the 1 feat that you did added +1 to all the damage of your spells, right?
yeah, I think it's applicable.
That would be. So that's -7.
Dangerous sorcery or some such.
Right. Okie dokie. So that is that, and that makes it Talia's turn.
This thing's still alive?
Yes.
How many actions can I take
It has to be a
against it?
non-cantrip spell.
What was that?
I cast a cantrip, so it doesn't count on this.
Okay, yeah. You get 3 actions, Talia.
So I get to shoot 3 times if I pull out my bow and shoot it? Is that how it works?
I think so. I don't think reloading is counted as an action anymore.
Okay.
It was in the 3.5.
Seriously, you can shoot a bow 3 times?
Might be able to hit something.
Can I add anything to that?
Whatever your strength is.
My strength. Okay, the first roll was a 2.
Or dex if it's ranged.
Oh, dex. Okay, the first roll was a 5.
Yeah.
That roll was a 19 plus 3, so 22. And that's
Give me a second, right?
20.
woohoo! So the first arrow missed the
Right.
other.
Okay. So in your bow,
My bow is a D8.
your description of the bow, it should tell you what the reloading rate is.
I just pulled that out of the equipment chart. I didn't.
Right.
Let me.
I think it is 0, so I don't think you have an issue with that. Let me take a look real quick, because I think it was only like crossbows and stuff that had a reload. 3 was a blowgun. Crossbow was a 1. Heavy crossbow was a 2. Javelin is a 0.
Yeah, regular
composite
bows are
is
0 for reload.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you got a crit on the second one, and what was the third rate?
Natural
natural
20 was the
20.
third.
On the third
yeah. Well, you critted with the last 2 arrows.
one. Yeah.
Okay, that was a 7. And another 7. I'm assuming the first arrow didn't hit.
No, it did not.
Okay,
Wait,
so
what did you get again?
7s. Huh? The first roll was 5.
Okay, you
Altogether.
actually did it.
I did? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so the first arrow was 7. Second arrow was 7. Third arrow was 4.
Okay.
And those last 2 were critical.
What can I?
Oh, so it's a
Oh,
D8.
Okay. So
Okay.
you fired 3 arrows.
Yes.
How many arrows do you have?
I now have 27.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, right. The creature that you guys have been near, as much as a of gunk can appear, it's pretty wrecked, but is still moving around a bit. And as the last kind of sinks into its waist, it pushes around a little, and it sends this wave of sewage and ooze in your direction. Wave of filth and slime hitting all creatures within a 20-foot radius. Aura, which you guys are. Creatures in the area take 1d4 acid damage. So everybody needs to roll 1d4. Or I can do it. I'll let me do it.
Okay.
I think it'd be more interesting if you guys rolled your own. 3 points of damage to everybody. And are hampered 10 feet for 1 minute. Unless they succeed at a d15 reflex. So if you can make your DC 15 reflex save, you do not take damage and you are not hampered.
Okay. I'll roll.
Okay.
Yeah, I made it.
What am I rolling for?
Reflex save.
No.
You didn't make the
You
save.
made it.
What's
Okay.
the save?
He's 15.
DC 15.
Yeah, I rolled a 7. So
Okay, I'm good.
I don't have +8.
It's fine.
I rolled a 17. I'm good.
14 plus
Okay.
4.
Okay.
My total was 16.
My total was
Okay.
10. So
Okay. Okay, so Moreland, Gorak, and Talia kind of jump out of the way a little bit as this wave of putrescence washes over the party, but the elf who is, I don't know, daydreaming as elves often do, it's this wave of poo muck, and is just dripping filthy.
I knew there would be poo. I just knew it.
There's always poo. There's always poo. And that brings it to the top.
How much damage?
Gorak, it's your turn.
3 damage.
You took 3 damage. And you're hampered for 10 feet, which means you lose 10 feet of movement.
I can only move the same speed as everyone else.
No, I only can move 20 feet total.
Exactly.
Oh.
All right, let me see. Would this thing be affected by venom?
You don't know.
Let's see if it does. I can mix up some giant centipede venom. Okay, let's see how they going too far. There we go. Giant centipede venom. Oh, this is good. Sweet. Okay. Let's try some venom on it. So activation is probably going to take the turn. Right? Because this shows...
You're dropping in, or I'm dropping in and out. Something is breaking up your communications.
Maybe yes, because we heard you just fine.
Yeah, because I was only catching every other word there for a second. What was that?
Giant centipede venom. Activation shows 3 diamonds.
Okay, that means it takes 3 actions in your turn. So it takes your whole turn to do that.
Okay. All right, I'm going to do giant centipede venom. We'll poison this thing. Okay. All right, let's just go for it. Okay, this roll plus 2. I think I missed. The total roll is 8.
You did not.
You got it?
I got it.
Yeah, my first arrow got it. And that was
Holy cow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it does not have an extensively amazing AC.
Okay. So it's going to take poison.
Okay.
So this comes in a number of stages. So stage 1 is D4 poison damage for 1 round. Stage 2 is D6 poison damage and flat-footed for 1 round. And then stage 3 is D8 poison damage, flat-footed and sluggish.
Yikes. Okay, do your worst.
Yeah. Giant wasp venom is even worse. Okay. So we're going to roll a D4. See if I can find one in here. It's a big fistful of dice, and none of them are D4s. I need one that's pointy. There it is. Alright, let's do this. The roll is a 1 on the poison.
1 point of poison. Okay, so your vial splashes on top of this thing, and you see the poison start to kind of eat away at it, and it's smoking a bit, but it's still moving around, and still kind of trying its best to creep towards you guys.
Okay.
That makes Warland's turn.
I'm just going to swing the glaive again. I don't want to get too close.
Yeah.
I rolled a 20.
Nice. Okay, natural 20. You definitely hit it.
All right. 6 plus 3, 9. Oh, that'd be doubled, right? Do I double the 6 or do I double it after I add the 3?
In this, you double it after you add the 3.
So then that would be 18.
6.
Okay. Well, you bring your glaive down on top of it. It's knife-like blade thrusts into the center, and it splashes everywhere and just kind of seeps slowly into the ground. You have defeated.
I killed a puddle.
Legends will be written.
I turn and I point at our little goblin friend, and I just point at it.
Talga looks very, very afraid.
Can I wander over to the puddle and see if I can get my arrows out of it by any chance?
You can attempt to do so, yes.
Okay.
Okay. And you will be able to pull one of them out as the other one gotten kind of eaten away by the acid.
Okay.
Or the poison.
We done good.
Okay. What do you guys want to do? Do you want to go back or do you want to soldier on?
Oh, we should totally soldier on.
Well, we're all doing fine.
All right.
Which way, Goblin?
Through the only other entrance.
Are there any more of these creatures around?
Not that you can tell.
No, I'm asking the goblin.
I don't know. I've never seen it.
Can I try to identify what it is?
Or what it was.
May.
What it was?
Yeah. You may. Not sure if they have set skill for anymore though. It used to be dungeoneering, but
A nature check?
that was a long time ago. Recall knowledge. Occultism, identify magic. We're gonna call it esoterica. I would be more okay with it either being an arcana or an occultism check.
I don't know squat knows, but I can roll on those and get a +1 because of one of my human feats. I'll go ahead and try.
Well, any of you
Natural
can
20.
recall knowledge in any of those.
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah.
okay.
I got another natural 20 on that one.
Nice. Okay, you know it to be a sewer ooze.
This is an ooze that lives in sewers, so it's called a sewer ooze.
Is
Yep.
that it?
Yep.
Nothing special.
Well, besides what you've already seen it do, it throws poop at you.
Well, they
Used to.
are. You do know that since they don't really have a kind of shape that any massive amounts of damage are not capable of happening. It's immune to critical hits, which is why it was taking you guys so long to kill it. Even though you're rolling critical hits, lots of them, it's immune. So it has low AC, but you can't crit it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So my 18 only did 9.
Mm-hmm. 9. Yeah. And it's also immune to acid and sleep and some other stuff. Okay.
Oh.
Right.
So you guys make your way through the burned out entrance, and as you kind of walk your way through this kind of little bit of a winding tunnel, the ground is roughly hewn. You'll notice that stink of not just filth but of burned stuff. Kind of hit you more strong as you walk through, and then I'll reread this one since I was reading it for the wrong place. The walls of this long chamber are scorched dark, and the thick layers of soot crusting to the ceiling above attest to the tremendous fire that must have raged through this room in the past. Burial niches in the walls and the row of central pillars contain only fragments of burnt wood and charred bone. So you guys have officially entered an ossuary.
Sweet.
Well, shall we?
Sure, okay.
Talga will look a little more weary as she goes into this particular area. She goes, I must be very careful. There are bed holes in the walls, and maybe some of my fellow tribe members could possibly maybe be sleeping here.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Did you say burn holes?
And she said bed holes.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. I'm asking her, sorry.
No. Yeah. Yes. Bed holes. Do you see along the walls? And if you look along the wall that you're kind of near, you'll see these areas that are carved into this long chamber. I mean, and it's fairly long. I mean, it's over, what is that? Looks over 60 feet long or so. Not quite as wide. It's about 20 feet wide. but it's pretty long, and in between the section that you can see, it looks like there are central pillars that kind of line this area, and within these pillars even there are little alcoves that are carved, and they go up a fair ways that you can place stuff into. It looks like at one time they may have held something. Before you guys, since you guys have torches, and a lot of you can actually see in low and dark, there will be. It looks like these to what might be another room off of where you guys currently are, and you can't see to the end of this room actually. Well, I think the people with dark vision can, but since you've got
low light
torch as well. That's right. I don't think any of you have dark vision, do you? I think you all have low light vision.
Our alchemist has dark vision.
Yep.
No. Yeah. Dwarf. Yeah. So yeah, you can see to the edge of the chamber, and then everybody else can see that it looks like it extends a fair amount, but say about 5 feet in front of you, and a little bit to your right, there is one of the pillars, and then about 10 feet away from that is a pillar to your left.
Here's the question. Oh, if they're sleeping in their holes, we either can try to sneak past and risk them waking up behind us, or
What are these?
goblins.
Goblins?
Yeah, our little buddy said that they're sleeping in the holes in the walls.
Oh.
And wanted us to be quiet.
Yeah.
And you guys, the room is not silent as you guys walk in. So although you guys aren't exactly trying to be loud, since nobody says they're sneaking, there does appear to, there does appear to be some noise coming from the northern end of the chamber. You guys are kind of walking in from the south.
Okay, I'm going to.
Well, now I'm going to be stealthy.
I'm going to pull my familiar out.
Okay, which is?
A little ball of clay with legs.
Nice. A homunculus.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Oh my gosh, we got so many tabs on our computer. Goodness sakes, we have so many tabs open. Okay.
Well, you can close that one.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have my alchemist familiar. Scout out for us.
Okay.
I just need to read what it can do. If it,
What are the rest of you doing?
no, I didn't.
Well, I'm
I'm going to try and
up
stealth.
against the wall and be stealthy. I'm going to listen to see if I can hear what exactly it is we're hearing.
287. Okay. Let's see if I can hit that page.
So can I
Roll me perception.
natural 20.
I rolled a 14
You
for
have to
stealth.
be kidding me.
So was that that was for the listening, because that's what I asked for. You said you were going to stealth, but you didn't roll for stealth. Okay, Joe rolled 14. I caught that one. Okay, so you hear the low chitter of voices. What languages did you end up taking?
Oh, shoot.
What?
I need to
What do you need?
look at mine real quick. See if I can figure out where it is.
So your race will give you some, but since you're human, you kind of are open to lots of things.
I'm trying to figure out what languages I have.
Definitely. Human. So you have common, one additional language selected from those to which you have access.
Yeah, I got Pharisee.
You got what?
It's one of the ethnic languages of humans.
Uh,
Do I get an additional one? Or
from which you have access. So whatever, I think. Just says access, so however you can access them. I would assume that's how you get them.
let me see.
Where? Skills.
At first level, if your intelligence score is 14 or higher, you can also select one language.
Nope, I do not know Goblin.
Assuming it is Goblin and not something else nastier.
Well, unless they're speaking Farsi and I don't understand what they're saying.
They're not, so you don't.
Okay.
Really, that's all the languages you have? I thought you would have gotten more than that. Your class not give you any?
Wait. Not that I can see. I don't see anything saying that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I didn't see any languages for class at all. It's just for ancestry.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah. So you hear a bunch of what have seemed to you unintelligible voices speaking kind of in lower hushed tones, and you just hear a bunch of just weird stuff. Like it sounds like a wet slapping. You hear scraping. You hear every now and then something that's like boing. And it just sounds like a really odd mixture of noises.
Guys, I think they're coming for us. Do I still need a roll for stealth?
If you plan on being stealthy, yeah.
Natural 20. Are you sure this dice isn't...
Weighted? You guys should check that.
I disappeared.
You know what's funny? I almost never roll above 10 on those dice.
Well, I just rolled.
Just like I usually never roll above 10 on most dice, actually.
Okay, well, she's extra sneaky.
Mainly bad luck.
Joe got a 14. So are you guys wanting to sneak up there and take a look, or are you just rolling to be stealthy right now?
I was rolling to sneak up there. I wanted to sort of
Maybe I
try
can...
and sneak a peek.
That there was a pillar. Maybe I can sneak behind the pillar and look in the direction of noises.
Okay.
I figured I was tiny.
Yeah. That's fine. So you guys can go do that. Okay. Are you going together? Or are you going separately? Joanna, so you're going to go. So you're going to go first, and then she's going to follow you behind. What are you doing?
That sounds like a plan. I'd go first.
I'm more of a ranged fighter, so I'd rather be back a little bit.
Okay. So you start sneaking up first. It is going to be a ways, so it's going to take some minutes. For you to get up to the northern section where you can really kind of see where they're at.
Well, while we're going, can I keep an eye on the little cubby holes and see if I see any other critters in them?
You may, yeah. What are the other two of you doing while they're kind of start wandering off?
I am ready to shoot things.
Okay. Okay.
Familiar.
Yeah, well, I'm following my familiar.
You're following it?
Yeah.
Oh, you sent that up ahead.
Yeah, it's looking around.
Okay. Is it going to roll stealth?
I gotta check to see if it needs to.
Well, you said it's a ball of clay. Maybe it can pass as one of the denizens of the hole we're in.
Well, I need to read what I can actually do, because it's a special.
Right.
287.
Yeah, it's right here. Come on. There's special kinds. Oh my gosh, there's a lot.
familiars. Armor.
Okay. Magically bonded creatures tied to your magic. Most familiars originally animals, though the ritual of becoming familiar makes them something more. You can choose a tiny animal you want as your familiar, such as bat, cat, frog, lizard, raven, or snake. Mine's a little ball of clay.
That's fine.
Familiars have the minion trait, which is another page I need to cross-reference. So they gain 2 actions each round during the encounter. You need to spend 1 action each round to command them. If a familiar dies, you can spend a week of downtime to replace it at no cost. You can't have more than 1 familiar. Okay. My familiar is tiny. It has low light vision. It can gain other senses from familiar abilities. Your familiar can communicate empathically.
Low light, one spot that says dark vision farther down.
My familiar can move faster than me. Oh, that's stupid.
That's helpful. It's doing something you can't.
Like, what the heck? Oh my gosh.
Huh. You can communicate as long as it's within a mile of you.
Yeah. So I can sense its emotional state, basically.
Okay. That's emotional state. That sounds funny.
Okay, so it has a climb speed of 25. It has dark vision. It has... what?
How did you gain this? You took a feat.
Oh,
That was his feet.
Your ball of clay can smell.
it turns into a nose.
That'd be awesome.
It's,
Warp into this nose with lighting.
It's a nose pass.
mold itself into a whole bunch of different things.
Yeah.
And the Alchemist Familiar, it just says it's a little creature that I made out of my own blood and alchemical substances.
That's not creepy at all.
No, I was just thinking that.
So it's basically a little ball of clay that can shapeshift into different things and helps me around the lab back in the dwarf hole I live in. I can prepare, oh, that doesn't matter.
It's like pink elephants on parade.
You know, that is the best part of that movie.
Are you kidding me?
No, that part's awesome. It's totally just hammered.
I never finished the movie because of that scene.
I dream of it all the time.
That does not surprise me, and it's also a little weird thing to know about you, Tim. All right, let's move on. Okay, so we've got this super hairy gnome who's creeping and crouching and walking, and then somewhere along the line there's this walking ball of dirt, and then somewhat behind them is this super invisible creeping human ranger looking at the other two, being like, I don't know these people. Okay, so after about 15-20 minutes of you guys slowly creeping up and passing pillar after pillar that just seem to be empty, and picking your way through this detritus that's on the ground, and you see this blackened, scorched, just soot everywhere. At the northernmost portion of this chamber, you will see 4 goblins who are just look to be like they're packing dirt and muck and whatever else they can find, little bits of string, little shiny bits onto this large, like 10-foot statue of it. Looks like just a large goblinoid. Looks bigger and stronger than the rest of the ones that are around that you have seen before, and it's just, this thing is just a horrendous display of I wouldn't exactly call it affection, but they're packing all of this into this massive statue. You guys have crossed the entrance to one off chamber. So you saw one when you walked in. You crossed the path of another one on your way to the northern section of this room, and you see an additional third passageway. And these are all off to the west of where you're at. But you do also see another, what appears to be a more structured passageway further north of the entrance that you guys walked through that leads off to the east as well. Looks like it's built on a set of stairs, and it kind of goes off into the darkness. But you guys do see these goblins, and they do not notice you at all. They're busy kind of bickering back and forth to each other, and they're fighting over little bits and then who gets to put what where, and they're so caught up in what they're doing they don't even notice that you guys exist.
Can I quietly poke my head in one of the branches you mentioned? I'm paranoid that we're going to get attacked in the back if we get in a fight.
You may. You'll have to backtrack a little bit.
Okay. I am invisible. So it's okay.
Not really, but you did make a really good roll. Yeah, give me 1 sec here. I'm trying to find this entry of the thing that I want to. Dragons. Seriously, bookmark stuff. Bookmark it. Oh, so there are kind of bookmarks, but not really. Oh no, wait. There we go. Catalog of creatures. Woo! Okay, see, that makes things so much easier to find. Okay, good. Here we go. Oh, but it's on a stupid page layout. All right, fine. Okay, so you wanted to take a look into another room, and that leads me to this section. Okay, so you kind of peek your head into this passageway, and you notice that it goes in for probably a good 10 feet or so, and the light that you guys had taken with you, because nobody said anything about extinguishing it, even though you guys rolled really good stealth rolls, you still have a torch lit.
That's my fault.
Yeah, it is your fault. But they didn't notice it still. But the light kind of splashes in a little bit in this room, and you do see some brief skeletal remains on the ground, but you can't really see too much other than that without going deeper into the room. But you can tell that the room goes back quite a bit further than what we've seen. But you can't really make too much out of what's happening because it's just too dark.
Do I hear anything in there?
You do hear a dripping sound.
So either it's water or another ooze. Okay, I'm going to creep back.
Wait. Okay, so I'm going to let my homunculus scout out the room.
Okay.
And just to alert me if there's
I noticed
anything
a little
dangerous.
ball. I gently pick it up, and I set it in the direction of the room and gave it a little push in that direction.
Okay.
Oh, it's because he was faster than you.
Yeah. Its feet kind of kick a little bit as you pick it up and you set it down. It's a little less excitable, and then it kind of trundles in. So this little misshapen ball of clay, and it'll walk in, and it'll kind of crunch a bit as it walks on top of these bones. It makes a bit of noise, but kind of scouts around. So what was it that you could do with it again, Tim?
I can communicate with it empathically.
Okay.
So I can only sense its general state of emotions, but I can't sense like
It can't talk.
complex thoughts. It can speak one language, I know. It
Oh.
speaks Undercommon.
Okay. You speak Undercommon?
Yeah, I know 4
Okay.
languages.
Holy moly.
Ooh, fancy. Okay, right. So it walks in for some distance, and you feel a reluctance kind of coming off of it, and then there's a sudden shock of fear, and then it comes running back out at some point, and it runs past Talia, and then kind of joins you at your side again.
All right, my little sidekick. What did you see? You can calm down now. You're in safe hands. I'll just put you right back into your flagon.
You can't talk to it, right? It's just emotional impressions.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. It's just it felt afraid.
All right. Well, something must have spooked him in there, so we know that it's
There's
not
something
a
in
completely empty chamber. Sounds like the perfect place for us to pay a little visit.
Shouldn't we worry about... I'm not anywhere near you. Well, I'm going to creep back to our barbarian friend. What's his name? Orlin?
Orlin.
Yeah.
Pelagius is either still standing at the entrance or has come with you guys. He hasn't really said. You guys just kind of took off. Didn't really consult. So, Nolan, what is it that you're doing? Did you follow the rest of them as they walked up? Or
Yes.
all right, then I will need you to roll me a stealth check unless you don't care.
I don't stealth. I am not trained in stealth. So
That's okay.
I fail.
You fail.
I got a 5 plus dex, I assume.
I believe so. Let me take a look at that.
Uh-oh.
I told you.
It's not his thing. It's not the least stealthy elf. So yeah, it is stealth, and you can conceal, hide, or sneak as an untrained.
Yeah.
So at least you're not as a negative. That's trying to look on the bright side here. Okay, so what'd you get total?
7.
7. Okay. All right. Yeah. So as you guys were traipsing about, look around and sneaking, Pelagius will come up. He kind of lets you guys go first a little bit, let you do your thing, and he comes up and he's just stomping on like frigging everything he comes across. There's bones crunching underneath his feet. He's kicking rocks. He's like, "Hey guys!" And the goblins stop and turn around to take a look at what the noise is, and see him bathed in the torchlight that is coming from a direction that they are unaware of, and they will shout and scream and pick up their weapons. And
If
move
they
in
don't
your...
see me, is there any chance I can sneak attack shoot one?
You don't have sneak attack, right?
I don't know.
Well, you're a ranger, not a rogue. I mean, you can shoot one without them noticing, yeah, but you don't get sneak attack damage unless you're a rogue.
Okay. But I can shoot one right now, right?
I suppose I could let you do that. They didn't know you were there. They didn't know you were there.
So can I roll for attack?
Yeah, I'll let you have one attack on one of them. Because you rolled a natural 20.
What do I add to that?
Ranged?
Yeah, so
Had that.
So
So,
it's dex. 15?
Yeah.
Okay. Out of nowhere, this arrow flies, and it catches one in the shoulder. So roll your damage.
is this the D8?
Mhm.
8.
Ooh. And it plunges deep enough to pierce his heart, and it falls to the ground.
I am so awesome. Okay.
One shot, one kill, and the other 3 look really surprised. They're just like, "Ah!" Okay, but I will need everybody else to roll me initiative. And you.
And me.
Arg.
Well, I'm going last.
Okay.
12.
That's not that good.
Tim rolled a 4.
I got a 7.
Do we add anything to initiative, or is it just straight? Whatever you roll.
Dexterity. It's your perception, essentially.
Okay, so I guess he
So
gets.
my total roll's 7.
Okay. Rock 7.
Oh no, it's 8.
Yeah.
I forgot there's one more number I had to add on there.
Orlin, what did you get? You have muted yourself. Joe, you are muted. What did you say you got?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, 12.
12. Pelagius? Nolan.
What?
What was your initiative?
7.
7. I thought it was 7. I was discussing it with Tim. And Talia, what'd you get?
I rolled a 1.
Cool.
I was
Yeah,
so
you're
excited
going.
that I shot that first one that I celebrated and didn't get. Right.
Nice.
Do some more.
Okay, so the yes, right. Okay, yeah. So the order is Warland, then the goblins, then it's Garok, Pelagius, and Talia. So Warland,
How far away
you are you are about. Let's see, they were here, and you snuck up to, I would say, here to be able to see them. So they're not that far. It's like 10 feet from you, actually, because there's a pillar in the way, and you would have had to sneak up to a certain point to be able to look around it and see them.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rage.
Okay.
Scream a little nice
Do it.
growl.
No, that's not raging. What was that?
Well, he's small.
So it has 2 diamonds there. Does that mean that's 2 of my
It's 2 actions, yeah. And
2 actions?
You can rage and then hit something.
Okay, well, I'm going to rage and I'm going to hit something.
Okay. You have a glaive, right? It's polearm, it reaches.
Yep. So I rolled 3
Ooh.
plus the rage.
This air conditioner vent, like right below my feet. It's the worst.
14.
To hit?
Yeah.
All right, your glaive will contact with a goblin.
Sweet. So that's 10 damage.
Okay. You will remove his head from his shoulders with the glaive.
About time you had to kill a goblin.
Yeah. And you are bathed in the blood of your enemies, and your enemies look frightened. Which only drives your rage further. Okay. One of the that is incorrect. Sorry, I'm looking at the art that's in this book, and I just realized that they screwed something up in it. Graphic artists. Okay. Right, the goblins. Okay, so having had their brethren slaughtered quite quickly and so soon, they will attempt to retreat through the passageway. However, that means that they will trigger an attack of opportunity from Warlen as they attempt to run away from him. And I think you only get one chance to do that.
Yeah. Only one reaction.
One per target. So yeah, one of them will trigger it from you, and then we're down that way. Saw it and we're able to shoot it. And the rest of you do not. So he's the only one.
19.
Okay, you will definitely hit it.
Oh. 6.
6. Okay. So your glaive makes contact with the side of the goblin, and it cuts through its crudely made armor, and you see it's starting to lose some of its innards, and it kind of grasps them, and it does make it a little bit past you, but then it stumbles and it falls and it begins to bleed on the bottom. And the other one will make it to the stairs of the east, or the east-facing hallway, and it puts it in full cover for Gorak and Talia, so you guys lose sight of it, but it is within full view of Pelagius. So Gorak, it is your turn.
Oh. All right. How far is the closest one to me?
Let's see. 5, 10, 50, 20, 25, 30, 35, 30, about 35 feet.
Okay. See. Which of our party members is closest to me?
Talia.
Okay. Give me your arrows. I'm going to apply venom to your arrows.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to use my turn to apply giant centipede venom to her arrows.
How long does that last?
It's contact.
I mean, how long will it stay on my arrows?
Maybe forever.
6 rounds.
Okay.
6 rounds. So I'll take 15 of your arrows.
Just out of curiosity, do you have an endless supply of this stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
I looked.
Okay. Just making sure.
So, okay. I got gear. Okay. So I have alchemist tools. And it basically lets me have like a portable little mobile laboratory.
Okay.
You know? It's like Breaking Bad, but in a briefcase.
Nice.
Okay, so this is good for 6 rounds. I'm going to use it on her arrowheads.
Yeah.
And whatever she hits with them, I'm going to start by enchanting or whatever. I'll start with 15 of her arrowheads.
Okay.
If she misses, she'll still have plenty.
Okay. Well, it lasts for 6 rounds, though, so...
Yeah, it does last for 6 rounds, so make your shots count and do full round actions if you can.
Okay, so how many actions does that take for you?
Full round action to apply.
Okay, cool. And that makes it Pelagius' turn. So there's a goblin within full view of you, and you are within 20 feet.
Nasty poison.
Okay.
Get to it before it dies.
I cast Magic Missile
Yay!
with I will add a somatic
What
component,
doing? Wake up
Okay.
the other goblins.
which means I shoot 2 magic missiles, I believe.
Slick.
And they each do 1d4 plus 1.
Okay. Is that including the dangerous magic?
Yeah, that doesn't happen until 2nd level. I got ahead of myself.
Okay. Well, fair enough.
So 4, I do 6 damage.
Okay. So you shoot 2 magically charged blue arrow-shaped bolts at this thing. They kind of swirl together and strike it, and you see the magic illuminate its armor underneath. And then it kind of slows down and stops and looks really surprised as the smoke starts to rise from its chest, and it falls and begins to kind of drool on the steps of this entrance. You guys have defeated said goblins with a quickness. I was like 10 seconds.
Well, I'm still covered in poo. I'm kind of mad.
The room.
Okay, so this chamber is cleared.
So I'm gonna mention to everyone how his little play ball ran out of that one room very, very, very quickly. So there might be something in there.
Well, it's pretty much scared of anything bigger than it, except for me.
So it's unreliable.
Garland, you have dark vision, don't you?
I have dark vision. Am I the only one
Can
in this
you-
party with dark vision?
I think so.
Okay, I'm gonna
I'm
look
not going
around.
to classify you on race or anything, but it's your ancestry.
Yeah.
You're being
Okay,
racist.
I'm gonna look around the room. What do I see
Hold
besides like stuff that I know?
on. Right. Okay. So this particular chamber that you walk into, so there's a narrow passage that opens up into a small burial vault. So you see more of these alcoves cut into the sides of the walls with where bodies may have been. You see the shattered remains of skeletons on the ground. So you see the scattered bones that Atilia noticed. However, among the twisted heaps and scattered rocks and debris that are strewn across the floor, you see the bodies of 4 goblins who have been killed, and they appear to be on display, kind of in 4 removed niches, and they appear to be mostly intact.
Oh.
Okay.
And purposefully positioned.
What do you see in there?
Okay. It looks like what he just described.
Yeah, but you're the one seeing it, not me.
It looks a little weird. There's 4, it looks like dead goblins in the middle of the room. They're all positioned somewhat ritualistically.
Can I come in and look? I
Am
go in.
am
I go
in the
into where he is. I want to inspect the bodies.
I go into
Okay.
the room.
Okay.
I detect magic.
You sense no magic.
Okay, just checking. I leave the room.
How were the goblins killed?
Do you have, or roll me a medicine check?
Okay, well, I guess I can.
I'll do it.
That would be a 13.
My medicine's better than that. I get a +5 bonus.
Do you actually have medicine as a skill?
Natural 20.
Okay. Well, he can tell me.
Do you actually have medicine as a skill, though?
Yes,
Okay.
I do. I do.
Okay.
So my total roll is 25.
Okay. That's fine, but even if it's super good, if you're not trained in medicine, some things won't matter at all. No matter how high you roll, there's only so much you'll be able to do.
Yeah.
So give me 1 sec. Okay. All right. Okay, so you'll notice that the dripping sound that you heard was actually coming from the ceiling. So the ceiling was dripping because as you have inspected these goblins, they look like they've been dead for a few days, but they also appear to have been completely drained of blood, and there is a single hole that is probably about the size of your finger if you stick it in, and in their neck, right in their throat. And Talga, who has been hiding, kind of looks scared, and she says, That's the mark of the big goblin. I think he might be a vampire. And we're going to wrap it up there tonight, because it's getting late. It's 12 my time, which means it's 1 o'clock for some other people's times. And we will pick this up next time. So thanks for those who have joined us. I know the beginning character creation isn't exactly the most interesting thing to watch, and our brains kind of tank and die as the later we go. So it may not always be the most interesting, but I'm glad you joined us. Hope you guys had fun, and we'll see you next time. And I'm looking forward to going through the adventure a little bit more and showing you guys more of what the second edition of Pathfinder looks like. So I think it'll be more interesting. The more we go and the more we become familiar with the system, we'll be able to spend less time reading the book and more time figuring out how the heck we're doing things. So thanks for joining us. As always, happy gaming. Have a good night. Come on, mouse, work.